Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome, everyone. For the last 10 days, I've had what for me is a pretty rare opportunity, and I know it is for many of you too, where everything just seemed to quiet and settle. Lots of people I know have gone away. It's hot here in Tiruvannamalai, the traditional hot season, although it's not really very hot right now, but it was before. And this causes people to go away, especially after the last 2 years where many people who were here were locked down here for 2 years or longer. And so many people have gone to visit family in Europe and America and other places. And the opportunity that's created for me, having just arrived here a few months ago, is that it's given me the opportunity to just be here without schedules and without commitments in terms of public work and things like that. And the interesting thing for me has been that over the last 10 days, I live a very quiet and simple life anyway, as some of you do. But it wasn't really until I came to a full stop again, after traveling, moving here, settling, getting everything arranged, getting life arranged here to sort of go on automatic pilot for a while, that I came to see that the immense value of having that periodic opportunity to take a few days or a week or a month, if you have that kind of time, to just stop. And by stop, I mean completely stop. I'm not calling this a retreat. I'm not structuring it so that I can accomplish something before everybody starts coming back and it starts getting busy again. I'm sleeping when I'm sleeping, eating when I'm eating, walking when I feel like walking, doing nothing when I feel like doing nothing. And in that spontaneous immediacy, I'm becoming really, really aware of the way in which life unfolds on its own without my needing to do anything about it. This is not always an easy place to get to. We are so programmed throughout a lifetime, aren't we? To stay on task, to get things done, to accomplish something, anything. So that each night when we go to bed, we can look back on our day, whether we actually do this in our minds or not. We can have an accounting of what did I get done today? This and this and this and this and this. Oh, okay, yeah, this day was a valuable day. This was a worthwhile day. I got this done and I got that done. And I talked to this person and I talked to that person. But there's immense value, I'm reminded now, in being, in having the opportunity for a day, a half a day, a week, to allow ourselves to fall fully into this moment of being, consciousness. To not know what is it I'm going to do in the next minute, the next hour, this afternoon, tomorrow, next week. This is the way of modern life, isn't it? To always be projecting ahead, keeping track of our schedule, keeping track of our appointments, keeping track of what it is we need to do. And in the doing of that, losing the spontaneous being consciousness that we are. So today, I just want to remind you, and I know it's summer, things need to get done, projects have to be completed, trips need to be taken. All of the normal things that happen for many people as the energy of the sun and the warmth of the summer increases, that we can forget that for us, meaning those of us who are here in this meeting at this moment, that sometimes we also need to prioritize the being consciousness of our experience, to make that something that we return to over and over, so that we become more and more comfortable in the recognition that we are aware here and now. And that we don't need activity and doingness in order to see that I am alive. We can also enter into silence. And just be. Living life without a plan in mind. It's very interesting to see what unfolds. The critters here in the compound I'm living in have discovered over the last 10 days that I'm here all the time. So now I have a peacock with her 2 chicks who comes to the back door at a certain time in the morning looking for a handout. And one of the street dogs has found his way into the compound, and he's now waiting for me each morning when I come out to get his biscuit. And on the overhang over my door now, because of the dog sitting down below, there's a white cat who's taken up residence on the overhang above the door, waiting for her treat. So everybody's realized that there's somebody here, but everything is at full stop. So everybody's just moving in. And life is taking on a quality and a momentum of its own. All the people have left. I'm the only one here in the compound now, and there are probably 40 or 50 houses in this compound, both on this side of the road and the other. And there's just the people from the village that work in the garden are the only ones that ever come in anymore, and that's only every few days. So now all the animals are gathering around the one human who is here. So I didn't realize that that would happen, but I'm happy that it has. So we are all just hanging out here in the empty space, enjoying each other's company. Of course, along with the chipmunks, what we call chipmunks in America, here in India, are called squirrels. They look just like a chipmunk, but squirrel is okay with me. And of course, the many, many, many different kinds of birds, which have a tendency to hang around a little bit longer now because there's not so many people around. So I'm very happy. I'm just reporting to you. I'm very happy to be living in this kind of spontaneous, momentary, moment-by-moment environment. And I'm encouraging you to take the time to do that a little bit for yourself, if you don't already. It's in this moment of recognition that we see the perfection of everything as it's unfolding, just as it is. We have the opportunity to realize that life has an unexpected and spontaneous joy to it if we can just stop long enough to be in it. So one of the things that does happen every year about this time, I've noticed, I think this is our third summer, perhaps doing Zoom satsangs. And one of the things that does happen this time of year is that we get fewer and fewer people coming week by week as people go on vacation and visit with family and travel and so on. So this is an opportunity for some of you maybe who I don't get a chance to speak with, or you don't take the opportunity because of the number of people that are here or whatever to speak. But this is an opportunity for those of you who prefer a little bit less crowded Zoom room to be able to have a conversation, to tell me what your experience is like. How is your life in awareness going? All of you know now, week by week, that the things I talk about don't really change that much. That's partly because I have an intense focus during the time that we're together to keep bringing you back to the recognition of who you are beyond body and mind and world. It's a great joy to be able to keep pointing you toward the heart of being. And so I try in some ways. I not really try because it happens quite naturally for me. I try to keep pointing you back to who you are as being, consciousness, and bliss. To the recognition that we are the one self. We are not many selves. We share one heart, one mind, and one world. But I do like to hear your comments. And if there's anything that needs to be clarified for you, can help you work with something that seems to be very immediate in your life at this moment, then now is the time to do it in a smaller group of people. So please speak up.
Hey, Rishi. I find a joy in having nothing to say.
Yes.
So, Rishi, Mike, I would like to just say how uplifting and joyful it made me feel that the critters have discovered you, especially the white cat up on the top of the door. It just feels good. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm
And
really happy at this moment to be able to live in this forest. You know, it's quite a blessing to be in this part of South India and to have this thick forest around here. Some people know Atmavidya has been here for periods of time, and she knows exactly where I am. She was in the house next to me a few months ago. So yeah, it's a very special place, and it's a real refuge for humans and animals as well. I thought of you a few weeks ago because I remember the story that you told me about what was it? I think it was a rattlesnake that took up residence out near your back wall.
yes, in the labyrinth.
Yeah, yeah. Because we have quite a few snakes around here as well too. Monitor lizards. They poke themselves under the wall, and then you just see their head pop up. They look around, make sure everything's okay, and then they come out into the garden. Yeah. It's beautiful to see the way that nature looks after itself in a certain way when it's just left alone. And we're very much a part of that, and in this modern world we forget that. We forget that life has its own agendas and its own direction and its own plans, and the more we're able to stop, put down the mind, put down my plans, and just be in the moment, the more we fit back into that natural awakening that is the purpose and goal of life, just to be lived.
I read a poem this morning called Noah's Raven, and the first sentence was, "Why did I come back?" It really made me think that this is such a beautiful place to hang out, and it's really a beautiful, beautiful time to be on planet. Part of it is these Sunday morning satsangs. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. To be here now in these times and to be here in these bodies is a great blessing. This is why we look after the body. This is why we look after the mind. We do what we can to take advantage of this opportunity that we've been given to realize the true nature of ourselves as being consciousness and bliss. This is the use for living. Lots of things can be accomplished in life, but if the opportunity to awaken to the truth is missed, then in many ways it's a waste. If we know this, we can both rejoice in our good fortune to have realized this about our own lives, and we can also have compassion for all beings who have not yet awakened and don't yet understand the purpose and meaning of their own existence, have not yet realized that suffering is directly related to clinging to a false sense of who I am and resisting what life is offering us in any given moment. So having realized something about the purpose and the nature of why you've taken birth, rejoice in your recognition that you are being consciousness. that you need do nothing. Just by being. Your light shines in the world. Your love and your compassion benefit everyone.
Rishiji, there's just something which you spoke about right now, and also last time when we spoke about this opportunity in this life, not to waste it. And I can see this fear coming up quite often of being distracted or wasting this life in some ways, especially if there are many activities coming up and there doesn't seem to be the same space just for contemplating or letting it just be as you described. So my question is just, once this recognition has happened, this process of being grounded and stabilizing in this scene and keep coming back and again. So this is not something we actively do, it's just happening sort of naturally. But is there like an inner compass guiding you so that you know that right now for be fully stable in it, no matter of the mind projection, it's just that life is offering you this chance. If there's this earnest wish to be fully grounded in this life as much as it is possible in the remaining years in this body, because nobody knows how much time we have, but just to sort of make full use of it and complete or finish whatever is destined to be finished in this body. Like, it's just this question how to sort of keep being on the right track. Just saying this grounding process. And not being pulled out completely, whatever distractions or whatever strong events might happen outside, but just to always, no matter how busy this body and mind might be, always to keep deepening in this recognition, to be stable. I just wanted to know if it's just going to happen naturally, or if there's like an inner knowing that now I have to withdraw myself and not to miss life chance in a way.
So a couple of thoughts come to mind when I listen to you. One is that not to worry, all is well. There is enough intensity in your intention, in your desire, in your voice, to carry you. So please, don't be too concerned. It may be that for a short period of time, you get distracted by something here or there, where it seems as though you somehow have forgotten who you are. But this is only a thought in the mind. As soon as it's noticed, I am aware. Even I am aware that I've been lost. Now you are no longer lost. You're no longer confused. You're no longer fearful. Whatever it might be for you in that moment, you're no longer anxious. As soon as the recollection is there, in this moment I am aware. Now you are back. You're not back to something that you have forgotten. You're back to what you are. The forgetting is in getting lost in the busyness, getting lost in whatever it is, a person, a situation, a family. There's where the feeling of getting lost is. When you come to the recognition, but in this moment I now am aware, even that I've been lost. Now you are back to your natural state. In thinking in this way and in realizing this, you've understood that you are not the distraction. You are the being, consciousness, which is always there behind these experiences of me and mine, behind this experience of emotion, job, outer circumstances, the world, veiling the recognition that, excuse me, that I am here. As soon as you completely give up this fear that you can somehow stop being who you are, as soon as you recognize that to be a false belief in the mind, a belief based in separation, as soon as you recognize that, you can shatter that whole me-based story and come back to rest in what you always are. That which is aware, that which is even before I am. Asking the question, who am I? What is being referred to when I say I? What is I? What is aware of I? Inquiring in this way is not as cut and dry as some people would like us to believe. They say, well, this is just a mental process. No, it's not. It's actually the uprooting of the mental processes. Before we are able to ask the question, who is I? What is being referred to when I say I? Before we are able to ask that question, we are living in the world in the mistaken belief that I am the body. And by extension, the body-mind complex. So when I say I am the body, I mean the belief is I am the body I am the mind, I am the thought, I am the emotions, I am the job, all of that. The living circumstances, whatever. Male, female, young, old. This is all related to the misunderstanding that I am the body. But as soon as, which you have done years ago, as soon as we pick up this questioning, which is very intensely aware that I am not the body. I have a body. I can feel the body. There are experiences in the body, pleasure, pain. I have a body, this is clear. There is a mind, thoughts are going through, emotions are rising in the body-mind, experiences are happening, so we're not in denial about that. But as soon as we begin to directly question whether or not we are the body-mind with the inquiry, in a way we can say awakening has happened. Because from that moment on, we simply cannot go back for an extended period of time, meaning years or permanently, to the belief that we are the body. Because we've already investigated that. We know on a deep intuitive level, well, yes, I have a body, but I'm not the body. I can feel the full force of my existence, and it is not related to the body. The body is doing what the body is doing. The mind has certain thoughts, certain patterns which go through it. But before all of this something, I can't even name it, but this something is here, watching, knowing. This is a sensation. This is a thought. This is an outer circumstance. This is a job. I no longer relate to the experience of being consciousness as though I am the body. And this, over time, becomes so automatic that we absolutely know that every time, even we say in a conversation, I, blah, 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 want this, don't want that, like this, don't want that, want this job, don't want that job, I, this I goes on. We absolutely know that we are using that I in a fictitious way. We don't need to argue with the illusion. We just know it's an illusion. And for the sake of conventionality, for the sake of conversation, we say, I want this for dinner. We don't know in that moment that what's saying, the body is not saying, this is who I am because I want this for dinner. But about other things, we come to believe that. Because we say I, we are talking about who I am. But once we begin this inquiry process, we begin very quickly, we come to the understanding that we are no longer talking when we say I about the body-mind complex and the illusion that we've created around that, or that society has created for us around this particular body that we have in this particular life. We know, you are the self. That the I that's being referred to is the I of the self, not the I of the body. Now the I am the body idea has no power over you. So now the body can be allowed to do what it does. It can do its work. If work is there to do, you can do nothing if nothing is there to do. You can eat, sleep, drink, love, all of the things that the body-mind will do, but there's a deep recognition that the I is not that activity. The I of the self, of being consciousness, is before all of that. So please give up this thought that you can lose anything. You cannot. You can believe the dream if you want. You can believe the illusion. But notice that when you wake up from sleep and you've had a dream, as soon as you awaken from it, you know that was a dream. Maybe there's some disturbance if it's not a pleasant dream that carries on for a few minutes after you wake up or for a half an hour. But you don't live the rest of that day believing that what you dreamt was real. Now that you know you are the self, stop believing the dream of your waking life. It's just a dream. Free the body, free the mind to not believe any of it. We do this, we free the mind, we free the body through this recollection, through this remembering. I am not the body. I am not the mind. Let the experience be whatever it is, but know that it is not real, that it is a dream, and you have awakened from that dream. Please don't reinforce your fears. They are part of the dream. They're not, I'm saying this to all of you. This is not who you are. In some ways, I can say, for a period of time, you have to be ruthless about challenging everything you believe about who you are and what your life is about in any given moment. You have to be utterly ruthless in the recognition that you are not the body-mind. You are the self. Clear, free, in every moment, regardless of what's here in body, mind, and world. You are the witness of all of that. But your nature is freedom. Not something you have to get, not something you have to find a way to, not something you have to discover. You are free. Let yourself be free. There's a lovely Rumi poem, and I don't know the exact words of it, I can't remember, but I can remember the idea, and it's something like, I was pounding on the door, let me in, until I turned around and realized I was already inside. The question is not whether or not you are free. The question is, how long are you going to believe that you are not free? And use the circumstances of your everyday life to keep reminding yourself that you're not free. This is a prison you are building each day. It's not a prison you are in, it's one you are building brick by brick. Stop it.
Rishi.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for this this guidance, ongoing guidance, and I for a while I have had this subtle practice before I'd get out of bed in the morning, because way back when I would. As soon as the waking out of sleep would happen, there would be this rush to assume the role of the doer for many, many years.
Yeah.
And since knowing you, I have there's been this unraveling of that tendency, which is a joy. And so there had been this practice of remembering who I am, just letting myself have these moments in bed where I would have that connection to self, to the true self,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
and have that be the presence that would be getting out of bed. And lately, maybe in the last week or so, I just noticed that practice has fallen away, and yet nothing has changed. that there's not these moments either in the morning or throughout the day where I'm remembering to ask that question, and yet here I am, and so this has been quite helpful to remind myself there's no problem. There is no problem here.
Yeah.
All is well, and nothing is needed.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you. And to remember when something does leave like that, that practices do fall away. You know, we use these aids only temporarily, only momentarily. But once they become our way of being, we don't have a need for them anymore. Now we are that. You know, whatever it was that we were trying to see or trying to establish or trying to feel deeply, it's been accomplished. So we don't need to keep going with that particular practice because, as you point out, the fruit of our practice, if you will, is that we see that we already are that now and that we don't need to keep becoming this feeling that we now are. This is our nature now. To be present throughout the day, or to just pause in the moment, like you say in the morning, just to get once again in touch with that, this deep presence, and then move out of that presence into the world. Once this is mastered, then we just get up and go into the world as we are. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Rishiji.
Hello.
Hi. I don't think we've spoken yet. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So a lot of this has resonated and is happening in some way or the other, but it's more often than not, it seems, I get into distractions and doership mode and believing in the I am the mind body. And I think one of the sort of nagging beliefs are that small I, needs to participate in this game, so to speak, and inform how I act in the world in a more aligned way with self. And at the same time, there's all these truckload of old conditioning that just happens there and clinging to, different obsessions or this, that, and the other. So it's sort of been oscillating between that those type of distractions, and then in the moment throughout the day, sometimes once, sometimes many times, I do pause and just enjoy being the dreamer and not the dream. So I don't know if there's any helpful tips to.
Yeah, just continue. Just continue, because this is just an indicator that there's more stability to come. So just continue the way that you are going, and remember throughout your day as often as possible, just to remember that you are here, you are now, that this awareness which you are is not the body mind which is engaged in all of this activity, that you are prior to that. So yeah, just keep going. Keep going. Don't lose faith. Once you have realized that there's a need to ask these questions or to look at these things, it's already too late for you. You can't give up now. You're not going to go back to where you were before. So just keep going. Yeah. That which you are is now looking for you. You think that you are looking for something. That's why there's this I still strongly saying, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I should do this, or I should do that. But this is that false sense of I, but for now it's useful, because it is pulling you back. It is calling you back. But also remember, this is the faith aspect of it, that once you really undertake to know who you are, you begin to understand in some way, intuitively, that what you have been seeking, or what you are seeking, or what you feel like you are seeking now, is also seeking you. And you can allow yourself both to continue going the way that you're going, and to allow this intuition that you are aware and awake to draw you in. You're not in this alone. It's not a one-sided effort now.
So all these thoughts about the little I trying to figure things out and how to help, just let them go or not take them seriously.
Well, you can let them go, but you can also, before you let them go, I'd really like you to recognize that, ask yourself this question: can this drive to awaken, can this thought that I must awaken actually be my thought? Whose thought is this? Do you understand you don't have a choice now? This is why I say what you are searching for now, understand, is searching for you. It has found you. And you can let go of some of that need to control the circumstances, to figure it out with your mind. Partly by knowing that you cannot do this with your mind. There's nothing to figure out. So, part of what I mean by when I say keep going is rest in the knowledge that you have been found. That this deep longing is not coming from your mind. It's coming from the heart of being. The heart of being is who you are. It's not who you're becoming. It's not who you will find. It is who you are. And you have penetrated that now. Even though the mind is saying, how can that be? I don't understand it. I'm still just crazy as ever. I don't understand it. I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you're pointing at. I'm not saying your mind is saying that. That's what my mind used to say to me. But the truth of the matter is that to come to the point of recognition that you need to ask this question, who am I? What is the meaning of I? How can I figure this out? Just to be asking those kinds of questions means that you have already penetrated through this me illusion. It may not be stable yet, but keep going, because it will stabilize. You are building a foundation here. The concrete is poured. Day by day, it will harden. Keep knowing all is well. I have discovered the way to myself. Now I will keep going.
Rishiji, something's been, you just said the words that were going through my heart so strongly. It's been mentioned a number of times here, and I'm resonating with it in a whole new way. And that's even through changes that I find myself going through, all is well. I'm just resonating deeper with this all is wellness this morning.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. These three simple words, this remembrance, goes a long way toward undoing this belief in the body-mind and the belief that the body-mind, components, aspects of the body-mind, are a problem. Many of us, for many, many years, treat the body, the mind, and the world as though it is just one big problem we have to solve. And we forget that in this moment of pure, direct, simple awareness, we are fine. All is well. And that if we keep coming back into this recognition that in this moment, as being consciousness, all is well, and that everything is in its proper place and is being taken care of. That by coming back over and over to this remembrance that all is well, we are trusting life itself, surrendering to what is here in this moment. Not what is here in the mind, but what is here in the recognition of self. In the recognition of self, which is pure, simple, and direct. All is well. Now I don't need to fix myself, because that's imaginary anyway, right? I'm imagining who I am moment by moment. So if all is well, I have nothing to fix. Everything is fine. I don't need to fix my partner, my children, my family members, my state, my world. I don't need to fix anything. If the opportunity comes to serve in some way, to help in some way, whatever is immediately in front of me, I can do that. Because in my world, all is well. Now I have love, compassion, openness, and heart enough to be able to help someone who is suffering, or a situation which is suffering as a result of clinging or resisting. But I don't need to be in that space in order to help in that space. In fact, I'm going to be better off if I know that my heart is open, peaceful, calm, compassionate. If I know all is well, now I have a gift to give to every circumstance. Whether for this body or another body, makes no difference. One of the most difficult things that we can do is to go through the changes that we need to go through as a body-mind, with the understanding that all is well. Pain and changes that we go through in life, birth, old age, sickness, and death, as the Buddha said, these changes are just part of life, and pain is pain. But suffering is something else. Suffering is the inability to meet pain, discomfort, loss, with an open heart, with love, with compassion for oneself and for another. This is suffering. This suffering takes place in the mind. This is different from pain that happens in the body, which is a natural part of changing, growing, old age, and dying. These things are inevitable. But the one who suffers is not inevitable. This is why it's important to come back to the recognition that all is well, even in difficult moments. To help undermine, cut at the root of the suffering itself. This suffering is rooted in the belief, I am the body. I am the mind, I am the emotion, I am the feeling, I am the pain. When we are able to fully chop this root, the body does what it does. It has the experience it has. There's nothing personal in it. Why? Because I am not the body. I am awareness itself, before the body, before the mind. Resting in the heart of awareness, where freedom lies, all is well. This is the meaning, the deepest meaning of the words, all is well. Resting in the heart of being, all is well. You are that. Hari Om Tat Sat. It's a joy, as always, to spend time with you all. Be well and happy. Namaste.